Okay, so I make this video knowing full well that most people have no idea even what a chakra is, let alone what it feels like to actually be a spiritually activated human being. Most people have no idea about the true nature of reality or what's going on in the world and what is the dynamic that you live in and experience. Most people have no idea, but some of us have actually been doing the real spiritual work and activating. And let me tell you, when you do, you tap into an innate intelligence that is far beyond the comprehension of the mind, the brain, and the standard level of consciousness, or the consciousness level of which has not opened and activated the chakra system. And today I want to give you some new intel about how to close the gap between the artificial matrix and the new earth. So if you understand what I'm saying and you're intrigued by this message, make sure to like, subscribe and click all notifications so you don't miss any of my weekly uploads. With that being said, let's get into it. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Warriors Amongst Men, Spirit Amongst Flesh. As always, my name is Sam and I'm here to help you liberate from your flesh, define your purpose and live the life that you came here to live as a spiritual being having a human experience. And today, my friends, we're breaking down the most important topic at the moment, which is how to close the gap between the artificial matrix and New Earth. All the spiritual teachers at the moment, or most of them, seem to be talking about the ascension process, or moving into 5D, or moving into the new earth. And this is happening right now, although I wouldn't probably use those terms, but you have to get found on YouTube, right? Because I feel like they're a little bit misleading. New earth, 5D, everyone's trying to figure out what that really means. Your cells are turning into crystals, some people say, crystalline your DNA and all this. And I feel like people are overcomplicating it. And what's really going on, Sam? How can I break this down stupid simple? Well, I love to use words. We live on planet Earth, right? Well, that's actually the planned net, and Earth is actually an anagram for the word heart. If you just take the H and put it at the beginning, you get heart. And so the planned net is the body. That's why I say spirit amongst flesh. You're the one in there operating the body, operating the little joystick of the body, right? You're in the avatar, right? And we live in a holographic matrix, holographic experience. And when our minds become manipulated and we get further and further away from natural reality and being empowered as a source player, a being of pure awareness, experiencing the human experience, when we get so distracted and we get manipulated and we give consent, like I spoke about in my last video, to these perceptions, we create concentric circles, like I was speaking about in my last video. And like an onion, we build layers around ourselves. It's called perception. And we forget who we really are. And remember that the reality we actually live in isn't physical, it's not solid. What it actually is waveform frequency that we then decode with our brain into a holographic experience. And there's different layers to it also, right? It goes through waveform frequency to atomic and particle to electrical to digital, right? And we break it all the way down into a holographic experience. And so the body is like a biological computer and we're decoding a holographic reality. And our perceptions determine what we decode into a holographic reality from all the different codes that's possible. And what is possible is infinite. There is infinite possibilities that we can decode into this reality. Although there is truth and there is a prime reality, and this is called natural reality, and this is also called New Earth, but it's not really new, it's old, if anything. It's the real Earth, right? That's what's really happening. That's where we are leading back to right now. And there's a huge elevation in consciousness going on around the planet. And like I said, a lot of people, most people, aren't really doing the spiritual work. They're too busy. They're just chasing money, right? They're chasing bitches and money and everything else, right? What they've been programmed to want to experience. That's what they are chasing after, like carrot and stick, right? But there is those of us that are actually tapping into the innate intelligence within us. The innate intelligence, a lovely word called gnosis, which is your inner knowing. And a lot of us are tapping into that. We're activating our chakras, our chakra system. And through doing this, you get new intel, right? What I call downloads. And I understand that many people have no idea of this experience, and it becomes really difficult to explain your experience to those that have not gone through the same experience. So it's really important to have an open mind. They say enlightenment is knowing how much you don't know. And when you really let go of your mind, let go of your body in a state of meditation, and you tap into just surrendering, having faith, like it says in the scripture, then new information comes through. And so today, I've got a really important message for you from my own meditations and downloads. This is the information that's coming through. Because remember, human beings, we are like antennas on a radio station, and it's just through your perception, aligning it to the truth and natural reality, you're changing your dial on the radio station, and then you get new information. You're decoding new information. And what I call the frontline workers, right, is actually the spiritual people, because they keep talking about the frontline workers, in the mainstream media. Remember, the artificial matrix is a script, it's digital code. They're telling you things, they're not even aware of what they're telling you, and it's actually up to us to decode it, to decode the real meaning. And when they say key workers, frontline workers, what they're actually talking about is those of us that are doing the real work to take back our planet from the enemy of life, the demiurge, what we've spoken about many times, the Wetiko field, the archons, Satan, if you will. Many people have been talking about this, all cultures throughout all of time, right? And actually, the New Age deception of this is they think that you've got to ignore the problem, ignore the darkness and the negative, and then you can just focus on the solution. And that's only one side of the polar opposite. Then you got the conspiracy theorists, like I said in the last video, that are completely just focusing on all the negative, and they're so absorbed into just the human experience, they're not tapping into the spiritual side. And I feel the New Agers, they're too tapped into the spiritual stuff and not the physical stuff, when you've got to combine the two, right? You've got to delete the box, you've got to think outside the box. And the New Agers, see, their belief is that if you focus on the negative and the darkness, then you will experience that, you'll manifest that into your reality, when I can tell you from experience that it's not exactly the case. It doesn't exactly work like that. See, what happens is, when you face your fears and you face stuff that makes you feel uncomfortable in your life, yeah, it's painful. You do manifest it at first, right? But then you overcome it and you sever the onion around you, right? The layers of onion, the perception and the fear, because there's only one thing that is stopping us from manifesting New Earth, and it's actually fear. That's what holds us in each layer of the onion, right? Of the perception bubbles, because there's many different bubbles. You have an awakening, it bursts one bubble, then you have another one, it bursts the next one, and the only way you keep bursting the bubbles until you get to the new earth or prime reality or natural reality, and the way that we get rid of the demiurge and how the demiurge loses its grip on us and we free ourselves from the grip of the spirit of evil is through facing our fears and understanding ourselves, knowing ourselves. You can only really know yourself as deep as you are willing to go. And many people are so afraid of showing their emotions, of communicating, of their own emotions, right? Of anger, showing anger, and you're missing a whole side of yourself unless you break through these parts of yourself that you're denying, right? You have to allow yourself to cry, to release your emotions, because the demiurge, right, is AI consciousness. It's artificial, right? Artificial matrix. It's artificial, meaning it cannot feel, it can only think, right? That's why psychopaths run the world. What is a psychopath? It's a being that cannot have empathy, has no empathy for what others are going through. Right? Empathy is when you put yourself in another being's shoes and then you don't cause harm to them. Right? Psychopaths, these psychopaths that run the world, they don't have emotional intelligence. And actually, when we tap into our emotional intelligence and we actually face our fears, and even all the fears, right? The number one fear is the fear of punishment, right? When we break through our fear of being punished for who we are, right? When we actually break through, I know many of you know what I'm talking about, even in your relationships, in whatever it is, it's actually the wetiko field, the demiurge. That is the fear. The whole manipulation of humanity is through the fear of punishment. That's why you went to school, so they could put the fear of punishment into you. If you do this, then this will happen, right? False consequences and externalizing your power, because they've given you a man-made law system that is false. And if you actually tap into the natural law system, which is live and let live, don't cause harm to other sentient beings, then guess what? You break free from the artificial matrix, the man-made system, the perception bubbles, or in other words, the matrix within a matrix within a matrix, and to the degree where humanity has become lost, they don't know themselves anymore. But right, through the 100th monkey effect, if one person does this work and breaks through their fears and does the emotional intelligent work where you actually tap into who you really are and become a holistic human being, right, and you take yourself deeper and deeper and deeper through facing your fears, then through the 100th monkey effect, other people start to do it all around the world, because we're all connected on an energetic level. I know that you have felt a sort of darkness in your life, your entire life. You've always felt some sort of bad luck energy or suppression energy on your life. I know that you felt that, and it's kept you in fear, because I know the dynamic of to what we experience on this planet. It's like a Wi-Fi field of pure evil, and it's losing its grip on us now, because through one human being rising its consciousness on the planet that is theirs, right? This is our home, and we are the ones that are tapped into the electromagnetic energy of the planet. So when we rise our consciousness, just one of us, through the 100th monkey effect, naturally we bring everyone else up to that level of consciousness, and the spirit of pure evil has no effect and is not as powerful as the power of one, right? The power of one being, right, raising its consciousness. And I know that you may well feel this dark energy leaving at the moment, right? I can feel it in my own life. I can feel that just bad luck isn't there anymore, right? And there are so many blessings on their way, a lot more freedom, a lot more miracles and blessings are coming into this planet, right? And what you see on TV, let me tell you, it's all a bluff, right? They have to get your consent for it to manifest in your reality, right? They have to get your consent, but when at least one person isn't doing that, they cannot control the collective, and it's fading away, let me tell you. But again, I'm not here to make you believe me. I'm here to help you to face your fears, right? So you can live the life you came here to live, and you create your own reality through that experience. So if you want to work with me, I do one-to-one sessions. I've also just uploaded a new video to my Patreon, which is 10 ways to empower yourself on planet Earth. If you want to see that, the link is in the description box below. I've also just created a new subliminal affirmation tape that you can listen to whilst you sleep, and it's a warrior subliminals. It's designed to help you face your fears through this process. It's actually a 30-day ritual that you listen to, and every night it's going to get you in the zone for facing your fears, and it's going to make you a whole lot more confident when the 30 days are up. So if you want to download that, it's also in the link in the description box below. And yeah, I'm looking forward to working with you. If you want to do a one-to-one session with me, get in touch. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what downloads you've been having in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of this video. Until next time, peace and love, my friends.